The average miniature takes anywhere from 1 to 2 hours to paint. And if your army of miniatures has 40 miniatures in it, that means that you are going to be painting from anywhere from 40 to 80 hours.
That's a long time.
I'd like to think that 80 hours is probably more accurate to where people would be painting a 40 unit army. So that means either you have to take off 2 weeks of work just so you can paint, or you got to find time somewhere else. They say that in 30 minutes a day, you can accomplish a lot of things. But who has 30 minutes a day? Let's try with a little bit less. Let's see what you can do with 15 minutes.
Who can do anything in 15 minutes?
Well, I did. For 15 minutes every day, for 31 days, I painted. And I think you'll be interested in what I found out. So you might be wondering, what can you possibly accomplish in 15 minutes a day? And the truth is, not a ton, but a lot more than I expected I would. And one of the things that I learned more than anything else is that painting is hard. I got into this hobby originally for D&D. I wanted to make miniatures. I wanted to 3D print miniatures, right? But once you 3D print them, it's just like playing with a Monopoly piece. There's no life to it. There's nothing to it unless you paint it. And so naturally, I got into painting, and I've been painting for about a year now, on and off. And usually what that looks like is I don't paint for weeks. And then one day when I have a few hours, I'll sit and I'll paint for 3 hours, 4 hours, and I'll try to do, whatever I can do in that time frame. And maybe that's how some of you are. Maybe you're better than that. Maybe you sit down for an hour every day, or 2 hours, or 3 hours on the weekends, or whatever, and you do more than that. But I had not until this point. And I learned that, painting is hard, but there's a lot that you can do to make it easier. And what do I mean? Well, that's stuff that you can do at any point during the day. Find out what colors you want. Know the color that you want beforehand. That's half the battle. And once you've gotten the color that you want, stick to it. Don't just keep changing it. I kept changing everything because I wasn't sure what I wanted. And in the end, it worked, but it could have looked better. And the other thing that nobody talks about is that when you're making these armies, when you're getting them ready, there's 2 ways to get them ready. There's parade ready, which means that it's ready to be paraded in front of people for like competition. And that, 1 to 2 hours, not going to cut it. You're going to have to do more. Did you know that most of those Golden Demon painters paint one mini for 500 hours? Kind of makes me feel like I accomplish a lot when I'm not painting one mini for 500 hours. But that's what they do, and that's why they win, obviously, right? So you've got to get to the point where either you know what you're doing and you want to do that parade ready army, or you're okay with just having a tabletop ready army that looks decent. You got to find your middle ground, and it takes a while to find that. You got to find your pace where you can paint and the things look the way that you want them to, and so that you like how it is when it hits the table. You got the 2 sides. You got it's crap, you finger painted it, and then you got the Golden Demon winning side of that, and you need to find where in that scale you want to be. But once you find that, it gets easier. The second thing I learned, and I'm not going to go into huge details on how I did my painting. I posted another video when I first wanted to start doing this challenge that goes over how I did it, where I did it, and what I did it with. Okay, but one point to take away is I was sitting down in the hallway with my magnifying goggles and light on, painting at night outside of my kids' door so that they would go to sleep. Okay, and the thing that I learned the most from doing it every day is that just being consistent makes things so much easier. I cannot tell you how I noticed it, but I noticed that my hands didn't shake as much after a week of painting. I noticed that my blending got smoother after a couple weeks. You know, these little things, these little practices that you do over and over again, they help. My non-metallic metal, well, my non-metallic metal went in phases where it was great, then not so great, then great, and then not so great, and then great again. So non-metallic metal's hard. Okay, but I got faster at it. So even when it wasn't as great and then got great again, I was getting faster each time I did it, to the point where I feel like my non-metallic metal is pretty good. And keep in mind, blending, non-metallic metal, that kind of stuff, the paints you use might matter a little bit. I'm just using normal hobby shop, or not even hobby shop, normal like Walmart craft paints, 50 cents a bottle. And from what I'm told, they make things a little harder, but it's still possible. And with that 15 minutes a day, you can do it. And the last thing I learned, and hopefully it's something that some of you need to learn as well, forcing yourself to do something is motivation. You may not feel motivated to go out there and do something, but if you force yourself to do it, guess what? You'll get motivated. You know, week 1, all I could think about was how I didn't want to do it anymore. Week 2, I was kind of impressed with what I had been able to accomplish. By weeks 3 and 4, I was excited to see what I would be able to get to in the end. And in the end, this is what I was able to get to. No, they're not perfect. Yes, it's a 5-unit group and one of my larger Warbeasts from the game Warmachine. That's what I've been painting this time. And honestly, I wish I had spent maybe 15, 30 minutes more, 2 days more on my Warbeast, but I'm happy with how it turned out. I'm happy with how they look. I have no problem throwing these down on the table. Now, obviously I need to do the basing, but I figure I'll probably wait till the end, till everything's painted, and then do all my bases at the same time, just so that they all kind of match what I want them to match and look like. And I feel like it'll be a little bit easier to do that. But what I've learned from this is that I have to keep going. Yes, this was over a week ago. No, I have not painted much since, but I have been doing things every day for my channel. Whether that's printing, whether that's painting, whether that's creating things for this channel, I've been doing it for at least 15 minutes. I held myself to that 15-minute time frame. Like I said, no more, no less. Did I work on other things during that time? If I had a little bit of extra time, sure. I mean, I'm 3D printing a village, and so I painted a couple buildings from that, which are looking awesome. And I can't wait to show that to you when it's all done. And with that being said, if this interested you at all, please like, subscribe, follow the channel. I'm still printing, you know, and I'm still painting. And as long as you keep doing this, that pile of shame, it won't be a pile of shame. It'll be a work in progress. And so if you keep working on it, well, then you can buy more minis and print more minis. At least that's what I keep telling myself. But as long as I'm working on it and things are coming out, I don't feel bad for putting a little more in. Because I know eventually I'll get to it. Even if I only get to it at 15 minutes a day. So, what tricks do you use? How do you paint your armies? Do you sit and watch TV while you paint? Do you just stock up and find time on the weekend? Do you take time off of work? I'm really curious about how many people take time off of work to paint. But let me know. I'm interested. And I'm sure other people would be too. So let us know in the comments below. And as always, don't spend so much time creating your world, 15 minutes is fine, that you forget to spend some time in it. Until next time.